we are going to talk about Riverstone, which is a glove company, right? So from baby powder and soap and shampoo, we have moved to gloves, which is fantastic.
Sorry, I'm just going to clarify. Gloves as in winter gloves or glove as in
Well, they do two types of gloves. They
operating
do
room gloves?
surgical gloves, right? Which
Okay.
obviously with the pandemic, huge demand. And they also do clean room gloves. So those are required for your semiconductor manufacturing, your electronics plants, that sort of thing. So very, very on topic, right? Just that they do gloves, which is unsexy.
Yeah. We barely even talk about anything other than tech, let alone gloves. I mean,
Hey, without these gloves, you wouldn't have, your semiconductors, and then you wouldn't have tech. So it all works, man.
That's
It's
true.
all part of the same chain.
Fine. Tell us about this. Tell us about this company, Riverstone.
Yeah. Well, so obviously they do gloves, and well, you know what's going on in the last year or so, right?
What's happening?
Lots more I mean, in case you don't know, there's this thing called COVID, right? And lots more medical devices and a lot more concern about safety and all that. So gloves
course,
were
yeah.
naturally what people thought of. And they showed in the market, right? So they started in 2020, I think at 50 cents, Singapore cents. They hit 225, so they quadrupled, third quarter last year, which is fantastic given that everybody thinks the Singapore market is crap. And
So
now
$2.25 lah.
yeah, so they have
Okay.
times 4, right? Essentially, it's a 4-bagger.
Yeah.
If you went from bottom, pre-COVID to peak, and now they are back at what 79 cents today. So back down as well. Yeah, the Singapore market has volatility too. But what I thought was really interesting, right, is that this seems to be setting up to be more than a COVID play. Right, so
Okay.
they just released their latest financials. It was decent. It was 30% up, 38% up year on year, but it's not growing anymore. So because of the glove market, right? It's just not doing well. Lots of surgical gloves are coming onto the market. Their net profit year to year was at 40% up, but their quarter to quarter was 50% down, right? So
Down.
not great, down, right?
Right.
So which just shows you how much they pulled forward, net profit in the last 2 quarters. It was insane, right? And
Absolutely.
to give more tangible numbers, it was what 260 million in terms of profit. This is ringgit, I think. Last quarter, pre-COVID, the profit for entire year was 130 million. So you have essentially 8 times your profit in 2 years.
1 year.
Right?
Yeah.
Maybe the market structure is bad. Maybe it's going to go down again. But I mean, think about it, right? Even if it goes down by another 50%, which is unlikely, your net profit just in a quarter hits 130 million. That was what they were making in a year 2 years ago for an entire year. It's great. They have had it's essentially moved them to a new steady state, but I don't think that's reflected in the market.
Got it.
But yeah, do you does this make sense to you? Like, I don't know,
Yeah.
right? I'm an old school guy. I like looking at PE ratios, which is 5.6, by the way. It's low. I don't think we have seen PE as low in any of our stocks in the show before. But
I stopped looking at PE a long time ago, my man.
Look, I don't think we even have PS at 6 times, right? From beyond, it's probably like 20 or 50 or 100. So yeah, it's amazing. I think. Right, but the market just doesn't seem to recognize it. So I think something for coconuts to look at in a bit more detail.
Definitely. And a quick question for you. Okay, so just to clarify, this company, Riverstone, is listed in the SGX.
Yes.
But they are
with
a
factories
Malaysian
in Malaysia.
company.
Yes.
With factories in Malaysia, but they're a Singaporean company.
Well, yeah, I mean, they have a company in Singapore, they have a company in KL. But they are essentially, they're a Malaysian company.
Got it. Okay, so my question for you is, I mean, and your question to me was, why is it not, like, is it a good buy, right? Given that it's...
I think it could be a good buy. Tell me why not.
But you mentioned their quarter on quarter has been dropping.
Yep.
50%, was it? So
yes.
Where do you see the next quarter? Right? I guess that's my question, right? So now we've seen it grow and we've seen it drop, right? Hit $2 and you mentioned it dropped to 75 cents.
Yeah.
And pre-COVID, it was 50 cents. Is that right?
Yes.
So what makes you think that it will go from 79 cents that you said up as opposed to back to 50 cents? Because the surgical gloves industry, number one, is becoming more saturated with, China obviously shipping it out and multiple other companies catching up to that technology.
Yep.
And with the COVID effectively moving to an endemic state, are we going to see an increase on these gloves? That's my question to you.
Yeah.
Do you think that will increase?
No, so exactly right. I don't think it will increase. Actually, I think it will decrease. And
Mm.
the projected decrease in I actually read this. I can't believe it. The projected decrease in the surgical glove market on a per unit basis is going to be it's projected about 20% less in 2022, and probably
Okay.
about 35% less in
So why would I
2023.
buy?
No, but that's exactly the point, right? Even if you took a 50% discount off net profit, and surgical gloves is only what 50% of their product mix and their revenue. So, we take a much bigger haircut, right? We say that not only could surgical gloves fail, clean room gloves, which is actually succeeding and they are the market leader in globally, right, also fail, and it's 50% decrease. They still make, compared to pre-COVID times, 4 times net profit, right?
Hmm.
Yearly, right? And this is stable. Even if it doesn't grow forever, it's still stable. So there is no reason, even if we compress the multiple, whatever, 2023 onwards, stable basis, it's the same price or just 40% more than the pre-COVID price, right? There is quite a fundamental, I think, mispricing here.
Fair enough. So what you're saying here is, unlike the rest of the stocks that we've been talking about,
This is
with
cheap. We should
Tesla
buy.
and Rivian
Not
and all
financial
of
advice, by the
them,
way.
it's not. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is, comparing to those, this company actually has fundamentals, actually has a growth in its net profit, and we expect that even at a 50% haircut. But the price or the market sentiment isn't quite there.
Yep. But
Right.
but nobody's projecting more than a 50%. Nobody's projecting even a 50% haircut, right? So your debt
Of course.
assumption is much more conservative than any other analyst in the market, but you're still making money, right? And
Yeah.
oh, sorry, one last point. So they had bumper quarters, right? The last two quarters.
Two
They actually
quarters. Yeah.
announced in the last earnings that they, if everything goes to plan, they would project actually a 20-cent dividend for financial year 2021. So you get,
Dividend
you
play.
you buy 80 cents now. Okay, 6 cents is
It's
over. Sorry, 8 cents it was declared earlier this year, but you get 12 cents back. Risk free end of the year, and yeah, that's an immediate 16% return for nothing much, right? So
Hmm.
even if they take the entire two COVID years as an anomaly, they are returning all spare cash after investments because they're expanding as well, but they're returning all spare cash to shareholders to do what you want with. So I don't see a downside. I think
Oh, fair
the
enough.
if it's fundamentally mispriced, nobody wants to look at it. So be it. You are going to get 16% dividend return this year in the next 4 months. You are going to get 8 to 10% dividends going forward because that's how profitable they are. Oh, you recover it in 5 years,
It's
right? So yeah, it's not a
absolutely
bad company at all.
fair enough. And in all fairness, when they create the gloves for semiconductors, as we know, is going through a shortage, and we're seeing expansion in terms of infrastructure. So there could be a demand for their gloves. And you mentioned they're
Yep.
also a global leader in that, right? So
Yeah, I
we
mean, you,
could
you build
definitely
more
see.
foundries, you need more gloves, right?
Absolutely. So that definitely could be that angle. And I think as they raise their dividends, so on and so forth, this could be a very good play, especially for Singapore market where it's quite dividend heavy.